Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here tonight as we're talking about the 2019 Men's Royal Rumble. It's going to be coming up, I believe, January 27th. This, of course, is the big one that's going to be coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona, in a baseball stadium, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I believe it's called Chase Field. I drove by it one time when I was in Phoenix, like 2005. For the spring training. I went down there and followed the Oakland Athletics for a week. It was definitely a vacation that I had dreamed of as a kid. I went down there. I did it once. I loved it. Since then, I've taken more wrestling trips more than anything else. But it is sort of a vacation that I would like to live again, going down there and just being able to see basically 2 or 3 baseball games every day because of the way that spring training is sort of laid out. You have to travel a little bit to go city to city, but it's honestly pretty fun. When it comes down to it, this year's Men's Royal Rumble is going to be very exciting. As of right now, there's probably just a few favorites that people think that actually has a chance to win the Royal Rumble to go to WrestleMania. The one thing that you can look at, it's not really guaranteed. They're not saying that you get to be the main event of WrestleMania because that has not really panned out the last few years. None of these guys that have won the Rumble actually wrestled in what is known as the main event. And I think the reason why they're not hyping up to be the main event, even though it's just one of the big 4 matches on the show, is I think they're going to give the women's match the main event spot. And they want to sort of hype that up for the Women's Revolution as being the main event of WrestleMania. And nobody else actually gets to be in that spot. It's going to be for either the WWE or the Universal Championship. It's definitely still going to be one of the big 4. You're going to get on the t-shirt. It's not like, some straight jobber is going to win the Rumble this year. But the names that have been either declared or have won matches to get into there, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Jeff Hardy. These are all big names that are in WWE. Definitely Drew McIntyre is a guy that people say is going to be the next big thing for WWE, that he really is on the road to success, where he might be the guy who sort of takes over the lead role of being the biggest heel for the WWE Monday Night Raw roster. We've seen this guy feud with Dolph Ziggler. We've seen him feud with Seth Rollins. We've seen him feud with Finn Balor. And he's had matches that have been great with honestly just about everybody. Seth Rollins is somebody that is sort of been built up as the guy who could take back that WWE Championship. It's been a while since he had a run with the belt. Somebody has to be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar. The way they're hyping up Braun Strowman right now for him rehabbing that injury, I kind of would be surprised if Braun doesn't beat him. But if Braun doesn't, Rollins facing Brock at WrestleMania definitely is a pretty big match. They had a match at Battleground 2015, I believe, where Undertaker came out and Seth Rollins just sort of disappeared. He got to keep the championship, and that led to Brock versus Taker at SummerSlam. And Rollins, I think, ended up having a match with Cena, if I remember right. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds right to me. But I think that Rollins definitely is a guy that has a shot to win the Rumble this year and go on. Finn Balor is honestly one of my favorites. I know that you can tell that every time Finn Balor and Triple H are in the same place at the same time, whether that's the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, or whether when they passed each other on Monday Night Raw last week. Finn Balor and Triple H always exchange 2 sweets. And I think that's the way of Triple H sort of winking at the camera that, Vince might be the guy running things right now, but one day Vince isn't going to be here, and Finn Balor is my guy. Just put up with his shit right now. For some reason, Finn is not Vince's guy. Finn's always going to be, one of the guys on Raw or SmackDown that is in a spot that just is good, but just doesn't have what it takes to win the big one. But there's going to come a day when Finn Balor is going to be the biggest name in WWE. It's one of the things that keeps bringing me back to the dance. Finn Balor was somebody I was rooting for to win the Rumble last year when I thought there was, kind of an open picture that a few guys could win it. Shinsuke Nakamura was my pick. but I wasn't really locked in on him as a guy who could do it. And I think Finn either picked number 1 or number 2 and started the Rumble off against Rusev. And we all knew that it wasn't going to happen that day. Jeff Hardy on the return tour to WWE. Definitely, if he was able to win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania in a singles match where he was fighting for the championship, it definitely would be the biggest news stories of WrestleMania weekend. And I think that would be something that WWE really would push in that direction. From there, the names that are also in there are the New Day. Neither of these guys, well, I guess of the 3, none of them have a chance to win it. And I honestly thought this was the joke when I first heard it, but it's actually on WWE.com. R-Truth earned the coveted number 30 spot by winning the WWE Mixed Match Challenge with Carmella. How that earned you number 30 in the Rumble, I got no clue. This has to be some sort of a surprise. Definitely in the back of your mind, you got to be thinking about Kenny Omega. If he signs with WWE, does he come in as a heel, attack R-Truth, take the number 30 spots? From there, you could build the sort of something with AJ Styles for WrestleMania. Maybe they fight and eliminate each other from the Rumble, and they brawl all the way up the stage, sort of building on Kenny Omega kicking AJ Styles out of the Bullet Club a few years ago before AJ made his debut at the Rumble for WWE. So I'm really hoping everybody knows that the Rumble is one of the best matches of the year. It's one of the best shows of the year. It sort of lights that fire for wrestling fans, getting us on the road to WrestleMania. And, it makes wrestling good again. It's one of those shows that's always good. And we love that. So we'll see what happens in Rumble coming around the corner. Peace out. Oh, Rollins for the win.